Welcome everyone. My name is Harsh, and welcome to What After. Let's talk by What After College. Today we are on our episode number 40, and I welcome you all to our episode number 40. Today we have Mr. Vijay Sivaram with us. He's the CEO at Quess Corp Limited. He will be joining us soon. So until he joins, can all of you in the comment section write from which city you are from so that we can get an idea from where we are having our audience today. Can you just write it down the name of your city in the comment section? Welcome, sir. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon.
So we are just checking from where we are having our audience today. Okay. So we
Okay.
have from Jamshedpur, Nepal. Okay. Bangalore. Right. New Delhi, Bihar. Nice. Okay. So let me just go on with my presentation then. Okay, so let me just tell you what is the vision of What After College is. The vision of What After College is to eradicate unemployment from India by making India's youth job ready. So, what after college? It is a very common question in the minds of the students. To answer this question, whataftercollege.com has created a platform, Let's Talk, where we invite industry dignitaries or individuals to share their experiences, journey, skills to the students for their learning, growth, and counseling. We do our Let's Talk webinar every Saturday at 2 p.m. These are some of our previous speakers. Also, if you want to get a regular update from Let's Talk, you can hit the YouTube icon on our page so that you can get a regular update. Also, I'll share a link of WhatsApp group in the live comment section. You can also join that WhatsApp group to get regular update from Let's Talk. This webinar is sponsored by What After College Workshop Series. In these workshop series, you will be get trained by industry experts. You can also prepare a career roadmap for yourself. You will be working on projects, and you will also get a participant certificate for these workshops. We conduct these workshops every weekend. If you are interested in these workshops and also want a discount for these workshops, please watch the whole video. I'll tell it at the end of the video. Also, this is the certificate that you will be getting for today's webinar. Okay, so today we have Mr. Vijay Sivaram with us. He is the CEO at Quess Corp Limited. He currently serves as the CEO for a professional staffing division and Asia Pacific operation. He is a seasoned sales and consulting professional. He has over 16 years of experience in the area of workforce management, technology, staffing, and asset and facility services. He also holds a master's degree business administration from INSEAD, Singapore, and a PGDM from Loyola Institute of Business Administration. So today he will be talking about how to develop resilience. I hope the session is going to be very nice. So I hope you all just stay connected. So over to you, sir. You can take the session from here.
Thank you so much, Harsh. Really appreciate you taking the time off and having this session. I think it. I hope to add some value to the participants that are there. So I'll just share my screen now, and I hope all of you will be able to see it. Harsh, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
I hope you guys can see the screen.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir.
Well, great. So I'll just quickly introduce myself. I think Harsh has done a good job of introducing, but I just thought I'd spend a slide on it. I grew up in the south of India in a place called Cochin. Uh, after growing up, I did my graduation and post graduation with Loyola Institute of Business Administration in Chennai. After that, I moved to Bangalore and I was working with GE. Post GE, I was working with the Adecco Group. Adecco was at that point of time a very large HR services organization. I used to head the recruiting business for Adecco. After Adecco, a couple of us senior people from Adecco decided to leave, and we started an organization called Quess. So we started Quess Corp in 2007. It was our first entrepreneurial stint. Quess was in the space of recruiting, executive search, contract staffing. So I'll spend some time on that a little later. After Quess, while I was in Quess, I also had a chance to build the Asia Pacific operations for Quess. So I went and set up the Philippines. You can see a nice island at the end. I also was responsible for setting up Malaysia and a lot of other countries like Philippines, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, etc. And as I was growing these countries, etc., I came back late last year, early this year in January, before COVID, and I came back to Bangalore. That's where the traffic is, and I now head two businesses in India. I head the IT staffing business of Quess. I also oversee the recruitment and staffing business, recruitment search business, as well as APAC operations. So today I'm based in Bangalore, and in between in Asia, I also picked up an MBA degree from INSEAD, one of the world's premier B schools as such. A little bit about what we do in Quest, just for all of your benefit. We are a business services organization. We are largely in the space of recruiting, staffing, and executive search. We also have a facility services company where we do soft services, security services, landscaping services. We also have a technology company where we do IT outsourcing, call center outsourcing, payroll processing. And many of you might have come across a website called monster.com. Monster.com is a job site which is owned and driven by Quess. So this forms Quess Group today. We are India's largest private employer. Today we have an employee base of around 385,000 plus people. We're 2 billion in revenue. We're a hardcore Indian company that is listed in the stock exchange of India as well. So this is a little bit about Quess. I'm going to spend a little bit of the next few slides in talking about some of the key themes in the post-COVID or in the COVID world today that we live in. I hope it will be useful for you. I'm going to spend some ideas, some thoughts based on my experiences, specifically for students and specifically for people who are just finishing off college and trying to build a career. I'm going to touch upon a few things that I think is important in today's world, and I hope the session will help you in putting a path in front of you. And we'll be here keen to hear your questions as well as we move away from the presentation. Um, so we are right now at the COVID impact area. We don't know whether we are in the beginning of COVID. We don't know whether we're in the middle of COVID. We don't know whether we are at the end of COVID. What we know is COVID is real and COVID is happening. And that arises at something what is called the VUCA world. The VUCA world, as you can see, VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. You don't know what is happening around you. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of confusion. I'm going to take you through some slides and explain to you how you can manage some order within this chaos. In every slide, you will see a little bit of a cartoon. The cartoon's character is called Dilbert. It's one of my favorite cartoon characters. I'm not going to read them for you, but you can read it for yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll try to link it with how real life is today. So, getting started, I think the core topic of what we are today is about developing resilience. Now, resilience is something which everyone has today. Each one of us in the conference today or in the talk today are people who have handled situations, who have come out of problems, who are currently going through a problem and they're dealing with it. Resilience comes in internally for people. But how do you develop more resilience? How do you develop stronger resilience? And I think that's one of the slides that I'm going to show. An easy representation of resilience is the photo that you see in front of you. It's like carrying an elephant on your back and you need to go forward. How do you ensure that you still are able to move forward even though you know there is an elephant on your back? So there are four parts which I would like to spend some time on trying to give an idea as to how you can develop resilience, right? First part, you have to be mindful. Now, everywhere around us, there is a lot of negativity. Every news article that you read talks about issues, problems, situations, etc. And it's very, very important to know what you're feeling. So, if you today, because of a lot of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., people tend to forget what they're really feeling. They see something nice and they feel happy. They see a good picture of their friend, they feel happy. They see somebody else and they feel sad, happy, etc. But because of so much of excessive information that is available on your mobile, on your laptop, on the TV, people tend to forget as to what they are feeling. So it is very important that each one of you, to build resilience, understand whether you're feeling happy or sad or angry, but it is important that you know that you feel that, because sometimes we put up different facade in front of us, and we forget what we really feel. So to develop resilience, the first thing is to understand what you feel. And now, as you progress, you're going to face challenges. It could be challenges which are personal in nature. It could be challenges which are professional in nature. It could also be challenges which are political in nature. Somebody backstabbing you, somebody cheating you. It could be a professional problem where you have a problem where you don't know how to solve, etc. And therefore, some of the interactions that you have as a person tend to be a little negative. It can be also angry. And it's important that to develop resilience, you need to cultivate a little bit of a habit of forgiveness. It's okay to say sorry. It's okay to say sorry if you have done something wrong, even if you have not done anything wrong, but to ensure that you have a communication flow, it's important to cultivate that act of forgiveness. Know how the other person on the other side is also feeling. These two parts of understanding what you feel and understanding how the other person feels and cultivating an art of forgiveness helps you build significant resilience. A lot of times people tend to just throw words out, say things out. I think that doesn't help in developing resilience. The third one, as each of you build your careers or start entering your work stream or jobs and finish off college, etc., you should also know what you like the most, what you like doing, what you do. It doesn't have to be always work. It doesn't have to be always playing. Let's say you're a cricket player or you're a tennis player, and at the same time, you need to know what is your professional life, what is your social life, and what is your personal life. And in each of these three things, you need to know what you like the most, and you need to know how to detach each one. You cannot do too much of one thing unless you're a professional player and a sportsman, or you're a professional runner. Of course you do a lot of that, but if you are working in a company and you also have a social profile, you also have a personal profile, a personal hobby, it's important to make sure that you manage that well so that you as a person will enjoy life a lot better. Last but not the least, which I think is the most important today for everyone today, is changing the narrative. Say the right thing. Many of you must be telling yourself, especially if you're looking for a job and you're not getting a job, many of you might be telling yourself, why is it happening to me? Why is it that when I finished my graduation or my post graduation that this COVID came? Why is it that when I apply for a job, I get rejected when my friends are getting a job? I think a lot of you will have to start thinking differently now. I think if you start using a negative narrative, then what will happen is only negative outcomes will come. You'll have to change the narrative to being positive. Now, COVID is also a fantastic opportunity. A lot of people today have changed their business models to suit their market. So some people have stopped producing some what they used to produce for 10 years, and now they're producing something else. I'll talk a little bit about that little later. But the idea is to look at what is happening around you as an opportunity and how you can use that opportunity. So for example, let's say you've been applying for jobs for the last 2 months and you haven't got any interview call, right? Have you changed the way your CV is looking? Have you changed the way that you have posted your CV in different forums? Have you changed the communication and how you go through interviews? So you have to keep changing the narrative. It's very, very important to make sure that you stay mindful about how you're representing yourself. So this is a little bit about how you can develop resilience. It's an important aspect, and I thought it should be the first slide because today most of us are going through a lot of emotion, and it's important to develop resilience to go by this. There are going to be many organizations who are going to fail, who are going to go bankrupt. There are going to be many organizations that are going to double or triple revenue. And those who actually do well are organizations that have developed resilience, who are able to withstand any form of attack and any form of challenge and reward. And that should be in the personal life too as well. Right? All right. The second part is a shared purpose. I think many of the problems today is when people become very individualistic. It's good to be having an identity. It is extremely good to have your own brand. It's very important to know what you are good at. But I think the world is also moving towards an ecosystem. So I'll give you a simple example. uh, I don't know how many of you have seen the Lego blocks which children play with. Lego started off by giving toys to kids and they were making blocks. Today, Lego is a movie. Today, there is a Lego land. It's a amusement park. Today, there is a Lego store. Today, there is a Lego experience. There's a Lego cartoon. So, Lego has branched out to building an ecosystem. So they don't have money coming in only from the toys, but they have money coming in from various sides, right? So similarly, each of us also need to have a shared purpose. We need to have a vision. So like an organization would have a vision statement, mission statement, and all that, it's also very important that each of you on this should have some kind of a vision. Now remember, a vision does not need to be I make $1 million and I'm done in life. No, that's not a vision. That's just a statement. A vision is something which will keep changing. It's like a destination, right? You'll have to keep redefining your vision depending on what you see around you, what you've learned around you, right? So it's very important to ensure that you have a vision first, and also realize that vision is not the end goal. Vision is just one of the goals that you'll keep changing, but you should always have a vision. How do you ensure that you can achieve your vision faster and better? Is when you start building authenticity. So authenticity is something which you put commitment in. How do you build authenticity? Trust comes from authenticity. The fact that somebody is giving you responsibility, the fact that somebody is going to give you power, designation, salary, is because of the trust that they give you to do the job. And that trust can be only proved by the authenticity of what you come to work with. How can you be authentic? Make sure you communicate properly. Make sure you say the right things. Always say the right language. Do not use harsh words. Know how to type a mail. Know how to send a WhatsApp message. Everything today is tracked. So it's very important to be very communicative, but use the right form of communication. Have clarity. Try not to go all around and try to touch a point. Be clear about what you want to say. And third, most important, model the behavior. If you want to be seen as a leader, you have to act like a leader. Now, this is very common. A lot of people tell this. I think you should walk the talk, you should do the things which you want to say, preach what you say, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it's not that easy when it is in practice. So make sure that whenever you have your vision, you want to model the behavior at which you want to see yourself. So if any of you want to become a CEO, let's say 10 years from now or 5 years from now, you need to start looking at how a CEO is modeled and what you need to do to get there. Right? Even if it is just putting your shoulders up or looking straight or talking freely, you have to start preparing yourself and model the behavior as you reach your vision. Right? Third thing, I think this is one of the most important thing today, and the beauty about what I'm going to show you is that this does not have an age barrier. You can be 80 years old, you can be 15 years old. The ability to learn is something which is there for all. Now, what is learning to learn? What am I trying to say? There are two concepts in life today in education. There is knowing and there is learning. Earlier, people would say, I'm an engineer. I know how to build a car. I know how to fix a computer. These were things the people used to say. Now, today, even if I have not studied engineering, or even if I have not studied to become a computer engineer, I can still Google and find out how to fix my problem. So, knowing is not very important anymore. It is learning that is becoming important. How did you know how to fix your car? Because you learned how to fix a car. And therefore, what I'm trying to say is that it is very important that all of you know how to learn and unlearn. You should be ready to learn new things and you should be ready to unlearn all things. So let's say, for example, in a company, let's say you are a marketing person. It is very important today in today's world to also know Python, which is a skill which is helping marketing sciences. Let's say you are an HR person. You should also know how to do analytics. So today you have to keep upgrading your skill more than what you know, because if you want to know something, you can always Google and find out. Let's say you want to start a company in Australia or you want to start a company in Dubai. You don't need to learn anything. You can just Google it and you'll find it out, right? But how to run a business, that you have to learn. You have to have experience. You have to learn you have to ask people, you have to read through, you have to get so many other information to run a business. So it's very important that all of you know your journey, and it's okay to be crazy. I think today's world, you are expected to do something different. You're not expected to learn the same structure as the way how previous generations studied. You'll have to think out of the box to try. So I know people who are who's a CFOs, 15, 20 years in a chartered accountant, finance guy. Today he's studying machine learning and artificial intelligence. Why? Because he wants to add value to his job. He wants to add value to his organization. So always be curious. Try to ask questions more. Try to learn from different people who are different. There's so much of content available that you can actually learn. Be multifunctional. If you are a marketing guy, don't stay in marketing alone. Learn about other aspects. If you are a salesperson, or if you are, let's say, a finance person, learn how pricing is done, how marketing is done, how HR is done. Always try to try new things. Let's say today, every day you go, wake up, you brush your teeth, you have your coffee, eat your breakfast. Try to see how you can improve that journey. Every day when you do something, try to see if you can do something a little better, a little different, a little new. It will always create some intrapreneurship ability which will be very useful in your careers forward. Don't always try to say that, oh, if it's I'm doing it every day, so it must be a good thing. No. If you're doing it every day and it's the same output, then for the rest of the life you'll only have the same output. But you as a person need to grow, so you need to increase your output in whatever you do. So just remember, always try to figure out things that you can improve in your life, in your work, in your family. Always try to improve life, right? Change. Everyone always says the only thing constant in the world is change. I'm just adding one more line to it. I think it's just not change which is constant, it's also continuous. I think earlier, a couple of years ago, if you had asked me, I would say we move from one system to another system is a change. I changed the way I look at this to something else. But today, change is continuous. It has to keep evolving. It has to keep upgrading itself. It has to keep moving forward. So it's very important that each of you don't get stuck in a comfort zone, which is why I put a rule there. Don't get comfortable. If you are doing same thing again and again and again, then there is something wrong in the way you do it, because somebody else is doing something better, faster. So if you feel that you're comfortable doing something, so I'll give you an example. If, let's say, you're a badminton player and you have a very good smash, so let's say you're damn good at smashing, you keep smashing. Slowly by slowly, you're comfortable with smashing, but your opponent starts realizing that you're weak in other areas and they start attacking those areas. And then you open and expose your weakness. So never get comfortable in doing something for a long time. It's important to be comfortable, but don't keep being too comfortable for a long time. And always, when you try to change, you will always face failure. So do not feel bad about the fact that you made a mistake. I think today, a lot of people in India, particularly, I've always seen is the fact that they're shy away because they're scared to fail. They think by not failing, they're more positive, they're more career oriented. Actually, it's quite the opposite. It's the more you fail is when the more you learn and then you start growing faster. So accepting failure is going to be something which is very key. Please make sure that you don't forget to understand that. And it's okay if you make a mistake. And I think then you move forward as such. This is one of the most important slides, I think, for me. I think it should be for all of you as well. I'm coming towards the end now. I won't take too much time after this. But I think a couple of things. I'll give you a small story. I have a coach who helps me when I have issues or when want to learn something or grow something, etc. So one day I went to this coach and she asked me. She's a German lady, so she asked me, "Why do you work so hard, Vijay?" So I said, "Vijay, I like working." And she said, "But why so many hours? Why do you work for 12 hours a day?" I said, if I don't work in this age, when will I work? I can't work when I'm 50. I can't work when I'm younger. This is the best age, so I want to do maximum work now. She said, "Great answer, but I have a question. If you work all your life now, then when are you going to live your life? After 60? You won't be able to enjoy life the way you can enjoy life today." So then it came to my mind about the fact, the importance of making sure that your life is worth it. So you need to know yourself, know your worth, right? How do you do this? You need to have a strong network. There are two types of networks that you build, or maybe even three networks. There are three networks that you build. One is your personal network. Your personal network includes your families, your friends, people that you know personally. Then you have your social network. The social network are people that you have, friends of friends, um, LinkedIn connections, Facebook friends, I don't know. So Twitter followers, these are people who are your social connects where you can approach them if you want to. And then the third one is your professional network, your colleagues, your workers, your bosses, people who left your organization, people who are joining new. These are people that you may not know too well, but you still are in your network. It's very, very important to develop these networks and go beyond these networks to external networks too. So when you guys are today on on Facebook, that's your personal life. But if you want to build your professional life, come on LinkedIn. Start connecting with people, start networking with people, try to understand how you can learn from them. Today everyone's in various platforms, but use these platforms for your benefit and your career. You need to know how to leverage networks. So some of you can go for conferences, you can have mentors. If not, your boss is always your mentor, but find out your professors, people who are very senior, or people that you've always looked up to, your role models. Make sure that you have a mentoring interaction. Always make sure that that you have some kind of a detailed follow up to each one of them, so you understand what they can help you with, how they can help you. Always keep in touch. Have every month you speak to your mentor and tell them, I have this problem, or this is something I want to improve, and I'd like to spend some time. So they'll give you advice. Always have a good mentor. It's very, very important. That mentoring is very critical. Now, to find a mentor is not easy, because sometimes some people are lucky, they get good mentors, but sometimes you have to search for mentors, and you'll get a lot of no's. Don't get scared, just keep trying. Just remember that if someone wants to mentor you, he needs to feel invested in you. He needs to feel that he can help you, and that's what you need to inculcate as a behavior. So networking is extremely important in today's world. Know who your networks are, who can you use, who can you not use, when can you leverage for your betterment as well as their betterment. Even they will see you as a value add. So it's important that these networks are built two ways. It cannot be one way, right? So this is the last slide that I had. I'd be happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Okay, sir, let's end the session. Now let's move to the question and answer round. And I think that was a really helpful slide for everyone. We all learned a lot. So, all the people who have their questions, please just write the questions in the live comment section, and sir will answer those questions. Also, the What After College online workshop series is affiliated to IIT Kharagpur and Triple IT Allahabad. So, if you are interested in these workshop series, please check it out on our website. And the password for today's feedback form is this. So, all those who are filling the feedback form today, please note this password down and write your questions in the comment section. Okay, so let's wait for some questions now. Hmm, um, I think all the okay. So here is our first question.
Good. So it's very, like I said, it's not easy to find a good mentor. I think there are three things that you should do to find a good. One is to understand what is your core interest. So let's say, for example, human resource or technology or marketing is your core interest. It's very, very important to find people who are in that space. So look in LinkedIn, look in various newspaper articles, etc. Who are the thought leaders and who are the key people who are very good in that? And so if your technology leaders are very good, then write to them and try to make them mentors. If it's not a domain, and if you want to improve certain skills of yours, like communication or the presentability, etc., then find people who are good in that space and reach out. So like I said, it's not going to be easy to find a mentor. The easiest way to find a mentor is to pay. You have a lot of mentorship websites where people have senior people mentoring, and you can pay for it and get it. That's the easy way. But at the end of the day, that involves some cost. So best is to use platforms like LinkedIn and other social platforms to get access to very senior people or even mid senior people who can help and who would like to help you. But understand what is your core interest to improve. Which part of your life do you want to improve, and go for mentors who can add value there. Of course, anyone. So I think anyone who you think can add value to you should be your mentor and must be your mentor. You don't need to have only one mentor. You can have 15 mentors. I have 4 mentors in my life. So these 4 mentors help me in different parts of my life, and some help me in my brand. Some people help me in my building my brand. Some help me in building my listening skills. Some help me in my profession. So you can always have so many types of mentors, and it can be your seniors. It can be your friend too, who you think who's done very well, who speaks very well. Okay, very good question. I think, Bhavesh, I think how can introverts interact for professional growth? Introverts don't necessarily mean that they don't talk. Introverts don't necessarily mean that they cannot talk. They're just reserved in the way they speak. So I think how introverts need to build and interact for their professional growth is to know when they need to speak and make sure that they do. Some effort would be required, right? But it is also very important to also, not very famous people are all famous people are not extroverts. They're also introverts, but they know when to speak. They pace themselves. They kind of create a structure, and they do a lot of pre-preparation to say, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to ask. So for professional growth, it's very, you might not be very good in the social networking because you're not used to talking, but then you start creating a stronger formal network, like your bosses, your colleagues, etc., and you know that you're adding value to the work that you do. And that's how introverts build professional. But you need to prepare, because introverts naturally talking doesn't come. So you have to prepare and know when to speak and what battles you need to fight. How to overcome procrastination. Okay, so I think two, three things that I do. There is no fixed answer about this because it's all in the mind at the end of the day. But I'll tell you two, three things that I do to make sure that I don't procrastinate. So one of the biggest problems of procrastination is the fact that you leave something unattended. It could be an email that does not get a response. It could be a call that you need to make, etc. So I tend to make a list of things that I need to complete for the day when I start my day. So in the laptops today, in the iPads today, you have something called a post-it, a virtual post-it. So I create a little bit of post-its in my desktop, and I make sure that by the end of the day, all those post-its are completed. So I put some structure to the program so that I don't procrastinate to the next. Second, I think somewhere within yourself, you need to be telling yourself that if I don't do it, who else? Who can do it if not me? So I think that helps in realizing that this job needs to be done. And last but not the least, I think it's very important to self realize that if you do procrastinate, what could be the possible impact. And I think this very fear of, like cigarette smoking, for example, you could always say, I'll stop tomorrow, I'll stop day after, I'll stop after 1 week, etc. But somewhere you need to start also telling yourself that the more I delay, the more it's going to impact my lungs. So you keep reiterating that back to you on the impact that the procrastination can create, rather than just looking at the item. It would be very important to understand, Arpan, why you feel uncomfortable. I think, like I mentioned about the first slide, it is very important to know what you feel and why you feel it. So, if you feel because you are like a fish out of water, where you're not in the right crowd, or if you feel that you're not up to speed with what you're learning, or if you feel that you just don't enjoy it, I think you need to go a little more detailed into finding out why that feeling is coming. Try to do a root cause and try to understand why that feeling is there, and that will help you identify uh, why you feel out of place. A lot of times I've always seen is that personally you're not interested in doing that. Let's say in this case ethical hacking, that you don't want to do ethical hacking, but you're just doing it for the sake of something, and hence that disconnect is there. So it's very important to follow what you feel like doing. Even if you don't like it, you need to make yourself enjoyable. Oh, there's no impact. It's the learning process. The learning process and the growth process is very different from each individual to another. You can't estimate an impact if you don't have a mentor. I think there are many fantastic people in the world who have never had a mentor in their life. But mentors come in different forms. You don't have to have a physical mentor or a formal mentor. Mentor could come in the form of a friend. Mentor could come in the form of your father or mother. Mentor could come in front as part of your senior or a professor. So you will not formalize the relationship, but they add value in some way. But you can't estimate the value to it. You could, if you have a bad mentor, it could be a lot bad in many other ways as well. Does emotional intelligence play equal important role for? Absolutely. So I think today EQ is something which is very largely traded. In most organizations today, your social worth in the company is validated, and the social worth of yourself in a company is validated only by the professional quotient as well as the emotional quotient that you bring to the table. If you had no empathy, if you don't understand how your colleagues feel during a problem, you will be soon identified as a person who's not fitting into the team. So it's very, very important to have an emotional quotient. And most of the time, many of us don't have to improve our professional work, but has to improve our emotional work, our quotient. What is the scope of cybersecurity in 2021-22? So I think cybersecurity is one of the most higher demands in today's market. So I think if you ask me, I handle a technology hiring team, and in the technology hiring team last year uh, to this year, we have seen close to around 150% growth in cybersecurity demands. Now, cybersecurity demands have grown because of two, three reasons. One, there is this work from home that has impacted everyone, so people want to be more secure wherever they're logging in from. Two, the hackers have become stronger. And because the hackers have become stronger, your security threats have become much more. And therefore, you need to be stronger in cybersecurity. And third, now data is the new oil. So everyone's after getting that data. So it's very important to manage data because data is coming from all forms of sources today. So cybersecurity is only going to grow. I think the potential of growth we've already seen is 150%. Might take it will still grow further. I have interested. I'm assuming invested. I have an interested startup company. How can you attract investors? So I'm an active investor myself, and I'll tell you what I look for. There are three or four things that as an investor they would look at. One, they need someone who's very strong. So the person who's running the company or the person who's going to be the CEO, he has to be extremely strong and know what his vision is. So for me personally, the first thing is the person. Second, there should be a business model. There should be something that that person is going to do and execute. Just asking for money on the premise that it's a great idea is useless. It has to have some form of a business model. And number three, what is the outcome? Who's going to get impacted by your business? In what way? Is somebody going to make more money, or is someone going to get more service? Is someone going to generate ease? Is Are we solving some problem? So what is the outcome expected? So once I look at these two three things, and if I'm comfortable, I go ahead and invest. How do you attract investors? You can today attract investors through various angel forums. You can use LinkedIn. You can go to a lot of platforms which allow you to interact with investors. But networking is a key aspect that people should feel comfortable talking to you. So there are a lot of people asking for money. So how do they trust you? How do they know you? So network building is very important. What education preparation would you recommend for someone who wants to advance in this field? I'm not sure what field you're referring to, but today you have a multitude of platforms. Apart from institutions, you have edtech firms, you have a lot of online firms, you have networking tools. So I think today one can use many of these platforms to build yourself into professional growth. I don't think you need to be worried about how to learn. The question is where to learn and how much. How can someone be able to see others' emotions in a profession as sometimes it leads to fallacy and backfires? So that comes with experience. I think a lot of times today, one is able to read a person or try to understand what that person is thinking uh, over time, right? So you have to have the ability to understand why someone is saying something and what is the intended outcome. Because in India, uh, we have a lot of jugaad behind us, the way we speak, the way we talk, the way we try to explain something, etc. So to understand that, I think you need to have experience in working with people. So the only way to pick up emotions and to pick up real responses is to have consistent dialogue and also throw in consistent open-ended queries that make them talk more, So it allows you to analyze better. If you ask a lot of close-ended questions saying, are you happy with this? They'll say yes or no. But if you change the question and say, what do you think we could do better? You'll get a much more open answer, and that will help you arrive at what are the emotions behind it. What is the most important attributes of a successful person today? I guess everyone has their own special attribute. I don't think so there is anyone who is non-successful. I think there's only people who have not had the opportunity to be successful, and that opportunity will come. But if I were to put what are the good qualities of some people that have done well already, I think one is honesty. I think honesty and integrity go without saying. I think stay true to who you are. I always say that if you are honest in what you do, the rest of the things will follow. Right. Second, I think somewhere there is a thing to commitment of quality and not quantity. If you say that I worked 10 hours, I worked 3 days, didn't sleep for last 5 days, and I got this project report ready, today nobody cares. People only want that project report ready or not. So commitment to the quality of the work rather than commitment to the quantity of work, I think is also very important for a good successful person as such. And three, your ability to be adaptive. I think many successful people today, especially during COVID, has been doing well only because they're able to adapt quickly and change. If someone is going to stay in their little box and say, no, I'm happy where I am, then their chances of getting successful comes down a bit. How to read networking and ethical hacking. So networking is something which, of course, there are a lot of ethical hacking is a subject, so I'm sure there's enough literature online. But networking is a function of reading things online. How to network. There are a lot of, if you go to Harvard Business Review, you'll find a lot of good articles around how to network, what are the sources of network, etc. But networking will only come when you start networking and when you start doing it. You have to make an effort. Like you should go to LinkedIn today and spend 1 hour in LinkedIn to find out who are your connections and who more can you add connections. Who else can you speak to today? Can you spend 1 month in 1 month? Can you speak to 5 senior people and make it a target? So it's an effort. It's something which you have to put in effort. Do you recommend any course or studies for building? So again, there's a lot of material on Harvard Business Review, Stanford. There's a lot of material online that talk about building your emotional intelligence and EQ. So I think you just have to Google it. You'll find some very good articles. I think the key aspects of how EQ should be read is the fact that what is it? What is your industry? Where are you working? And how does EQ relate to that? I think that is the search that you'll have to follow. But there's enough material online. I don't want to quote any specific author, but I think there are many, many, many good articles on EQ.
Okay, sir. I don't think we have any more questions, so we will end the question and answer round here. Let's just take a session today. So all of you just write it down in the comment section. How was the session for you today? So that we can all know how helpful it was for you. Also, sir, it is a very small gesture from Let's Talk for coming for the webinar. It was a really informative webinar for us, and I think we all learned a lot today.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure being here. Thank you so much. There's a wonderful audience as well.
Thank you. Let's just wait for some feedbacks. Okay, so we are having very positive, very informative, nice session. Awesome, so we are having so many positive feedbacks. I think everybody liked the session so much.
Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and if there's any help that you guys need, feel free.
Uh, okay, sir. If you want, also all those who want to connect to sir on LinkedIn, we have attached his LinkedIn account on our website. So just go to our website. You can just check it. Get connected with him on LinkedIn. Also, sir, if you want, you can leave the session now. I'll take over the session from here.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Have a good day. Be safe, all of you, and take care.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, sir.
Take care, man. Bye.
Okay, everyone. So let me just very quickly tell you about what after college offering you. So what after college is offering you a mentor LED online training program. This program is like a summer training program. So if you are interested in these programs, just call on the number below, or also you can go to our website whataftercollege.com and check it out if you are interested. Also, we are offering you Microsoft recorded programs. These programs are just for 999 rupees. You will also get a Microsoft certificate after finishing these programs. So if you are interested in these programs, call on the number below. First, okay, so we are also organizing What After College online workshop series. We conduct these workshop series every weekend. These workshop series are conducted in the field of artificial intelligence, ethical hacking, 3D printing, IoT, Android development, robotics, digital marketing, automobile, and IC engine. So, how you can attend these workshop series? Just go to shop.whataftercollege.com and pay for these workshop series. Also, you can get a 50% discount on these workshop series. How you can get the discount is that when you will fill the feedback form of today's webinar, you will get a certificate. You have to share this certificate on your Instagram or your LinkedIn profile and send us the link and screenshot of that. And then I'll share you the discount coupon so that you can get a 50% discount for these workshops. So if you are interested in these workshops and want this discount, just get download the certificate and share it on your Instagram and LinkedIn. Also, you can be a campus ambassador with Let's Talk. You will get a campus ambassador certificate. You can build your network among industry leaders, and you can also build a professional LinkedIn profile. So, if you are interested in these, just text me on the number below. I'll be sharing you the link of the feedback form. So, if you want the certificate for today's webinar, please fill the form. The link of the feedback form has been shared to you in the comment section. It is open for another 5 minutes. So, please hurry up and fill the form if you want the certificate.